Archival training film WPA internal use only. Welcome. You are now viewing a mandatory orientation briefing produced under the authority of the World Phenomena Authority, WPA. This recording, and all information contained within it, is classified for internal educational use only. Unauthorized dissemination, reproduction, or reinterpretation of this material constitutes a direct violation of WPA continuity protocols. This briefing serves as a foundational overview of the authority, its mandate, and the phenomena you are expected to recognize, classify, and when required intervene upon. The World Phenomena Authority. The World Phenomena Authority is the world's foremost and sole organization tasked with the identification, classification, containment, and mitigation of paracausal entities and paracausal activity. The WPA operates through a network of undisclosed partnerships with international governments, research institutions, military bodies, and regulatory agencies. These connections are maintained covertly to ensure operational continuity, information control, and public stability. You are not authorized to acknowledge the existence of these partnerships outside cleared environments. The absence of public awareness is not a failure of transparency. It is a condition of survival. Paracausal entities, P. A paracausal entity, hereafter referred to as a P, is defined as a non-organic, non-observable intelligence, exhibiting behavior and effects that violate established causal frameworks. For training simplification purposes, Ps may be described as fourth-dimensional in nature. This designation does not imply spatial dimensionality in the conventional sense, but rather an operational state that exists adjacent to, and intermittently intersecting with, observable reality. Ps are completely invisible to the unaided human eye, undetectable through all known modern surveillance, imaging, and sensory instrumentation. Composed of a thermally active, refractive phenomenon commonly described as shimmering fire. Contrary to cultural myth, folklore, and unauthorized speculative literature, Ps are by default indifferent to humanity. They do not demonstrate innate hostility, predation, or intent. Current WPA consensus classifies them as passive occupants of our reality. Direct observation of PE behavior outside of interference events has not been achieved. Attempts at communication, whether through rituals, experimental PRAOs, or controlled exposure have resulted in consistent failure. Subjects engaging in direct cognitive interfacing have exhibited rapid psychological collapse, irreversible dissociation, or full PE possession. Survivability rates remain statistically negligible. Scientific classification of Ps. The WPA currently recognizes three primary thermo-based classifications under the umbrella designation of Thermocognitive Entity, TCE. Thermocognitive Entity, TCE, exhibits measurable cognition but no observable influence over reality, perception, or causality. Classified as non-hostile and functionally harmless. Prevailing theories suggest these entities represent early developmental states, supported by consistently lower thermal signatures. Thermorefractive Entity, TRE, exhibits influence over perception, decision-making processes, and sensory interpretation. Capable of inducing visual warping, cognitive distortion, and behavioral deviation in exposed populations. Thermoparacausal Entity, TPE, the most dangerous classification currently recognized. Capable of direct reality alteration, causal displacement, and structural inconsistency. Abilities vary significantly between instances. Further, subclassification remains ongoing. Local populations historically exposed to high-severity TPE manifestations have applied the term African. This designation holds no scientific authority but appears consistently across unconnected cultural records. Paracausal activity, PA. While most Ps remain dormant or non-interactive, disturbance can occur. Known causes include human interference, improper ritual execution, PRAO destabilization, or unknown variables currently beyond WPA. Modeling capacity. When a PE actively influences observable reality, the incident is classified as paracausal activity, PA. Detection is achieved through correlation of eyewitness anomalies, environmental inconsistencies, and elevated quantum thermal readings. PA is categorized as follows. PA 1, Reality Displacement Event, RIDE. Quiet. Localized. Often unnoticed. Effects are subtle and frequently misattributed. Field alias, flare up. PA 2, Localized Paracausal Breach, LPB. Loud. Volatile. Poses immediate risk to civilian populations and structural integrity. Requires rapid deployment and containment. Field alias, hot zone. PA 3, reality integrity failure, RIF. Catastrophic. Multi-regional or global destabilization. Represents an existential threat. Full WPA. Mobilization is mandatory. Failure to identify or respond to PA at early stages increases escalation probability exponentially. Paracausal reality-altering objects, PRAO. Mitigation of PA frequently requires direct engagement. For this purpose, the WPA authorizes the controlled use of paracausal reality-altering objects, or PRAOs. A PRAO is any object regardless of size, form, or prior function that contains a bound, living PE. Upon initial synchronization, the user is subjected to intense psychological intrusion, including but not limited to cognitive fragmentation, induced trauma hallucinations, recursive thought injection, identity destabilization. Failure to withstand this process results in permanent psychological damage, PE possession, or immediate fatality. Survival constitutes synchronization. Successful agents gain controlled access to a subset of the bound PA's abilities. Operational constraints. A PRAO must remain on the agent's person to function. Structural damage to a PRAO may cause loss of function, destabilization, or catastrophic release. Current testing indicates agents can safely wield only one PRAO. Attempts to synchronize with multiple PRAOs have resulted in extreme neural overload and near total fatality rates. Only high-clearance field agents are authorized PRAO deployment. Closing directive. This concludes the orientation briefing. Your continued service depends on comprehension, discipline, and compliance. Complete all examinations. Follow all task directives. Report deviations immediately. The WPA thanks you for your cooperation. Maintain continuity.
Nope.